Surely you've heard it before, the often used adage attributed to Alexander Graham Bell. I'll say the first part, you say the second. When one door closes, another door opens. Right. Fitting for this time of year, isn't it? The end of summer, with Labor Day weekend now behind us, means the closing of area beaches and the last of Ravinia's outdoor summertime performances. The sun sets earlier every day, and here at NSCI, we're praying back here inside in Perlman Sanctuary. With the close of summer comes the opening of a new season. For so many of our children and our grandchildren, and for all of the teachers sitting here in the room, the end of August and early September means back to school. How many of our Facebook and Instagram feeds were saturated with back-to-back photos of smiling children, backpacks, and new sneakers on the first day of school? Here, too, Dr. Goodman and her team opened religious school this week, and Sunday school begins the day after tomorrow. There's a particular energy in the building around this time as our staff prepares not only for the first day of school, but for the quickly approaching High Holy Days, for Rosh Hashanah and for Yom Kippur. If you visited our office just in this past week or two, you probably felt the excitement. All of us hurrying to prepare the building and to prepare ourselves for the days of awe. There are so many logistics to manage. But you don't have to work in the synagogue to know the pressures of preparing for the holidays. Arranging for your family to attend services, purchasing new dress shoes for the children, and preparing your holiday menu. Some of us began cooking weeks ago. However, if all we do is focus on the to-do lists, if all we do is focus on the stuff, we'll surely miss the essence of this season. These weeks leading up to Rosh Hashanah, this Hebrew month of Elul, invites us into increased awareness around our thoughts and our actions. That's our primary spiritual responsibility this month, in these weeks leading up to Rosh Hashanah. A turning, or perhaps a returning, towards mindfulness. When we remember that the Hebrew word for turning or returning is teshuvah, our call to greater mindfulness takes on a particular imperative at this time of year. Elul invites us into awareness of the mechanisms through which we perceive the world. Time for turning our gaze inward to examine the assumptions and the routines that guide us. What assumptions have we let gone unchecked? What myths do we accept as reality? What poor habits have we adopted since the last Holy Day season? For most, this is nothing new. Year after year at this time, our rabbis stand on this bima and preach a similar sermon. As do rabbis all across the world, urging service-goers everywhere to engage in cheshbon hanefesh, this season's important work of introspection and teshuvah. Yet year after year, I don't know about you, but I know that I still need that reminder because my inbox is full and I'm feeling torn by my obligations at work and at home. There's always just too much to do, too many tasks to accomplish, and way too little time to complete them all. Year after year at this time, I need someone to remind me to slow down, to see the forest through the trees. This week's Torah portion, Parshat Shoftim, alludes to the many distractions that could get in the way of such introspection. Moses explains that when the Israelite troops take the field against an enemy, the officials are to address the troops as follows. They should ask, "Is there anyone who has built a new house but has not yet dedicated it? Let him go back home, lest he die in battle, and another dedicate it. Is there anyone who has planted a vineyard, but has not harvested it? Let him go back home, lest he die in battle, and another harvest it. Is there anyone who has paid the bride price for a wife, but who has not yet married her? Let him too go back to his home, lest he die in battle and another person marry her. Did you know that our tradition had those questions? Good. A person in such a state of mind would be little use in an army. He'd be unable to focus on the task at hand and might even present a danger to his fellow soldiers. One modern scholar explains these deferments or exemptions are designed to permit a young soldier to complete the establishment of his home, agricultural livelihood, and family, the major anchors of society, our major responsibilities. Rabbi Alan Liu teaches the idea of all of this seems to be that if we leave something incomplete, we fall into a state of mind that the rabbis called Trafe da'at, a torn mind, a mind pulled in various directions. The truth is, a torn mind is not only dangerous on the battlefield, but in our everyday lives too. There could be serious consequences when we are pulled in so many directions, when we're distracted by all of life's noise, stuck in the weeds, especially when we become unable to focus our attention on our work, or more important, our relationships. Such a condition could manifest as a spiritual malady too, distancing ourselves from God and our loved ones around us. Fear not. 'Tis the season to reflect on our actions of this past year, noting places where we've missed the mark, considering how we're going to be better in 5780. The month of Elul is a time for the difficult work of Cheshbon HaNefesh, taking an honest account of our souls. Our sages taught that one should set aside time each day during this month of Elul for quiet contemplation, something today that's much easier said than done. So perhaps instead of quiet meditation, for you that time is while you drink your morning coffee. Maybe it's at the gym or on your way home from the office. Maybe it is at yoga or a part of your regular meditation practice. Maybe you need to write your thoughts or speak them to a close friend. What's important is that each of us take the time this month for that work of reflection. With the close of summer, the closing of one door, we're invited to step into Elul and these high holy days with higher purpose, to see beyond the to-do lists, to see beyond the minutia, take a moment to quiet all of the lists and the noise. It's an opportunity to ask ourselves, what unfinished business, what unnecessary complexity is making us treif da'at, of torn mind? What is tearing our focus away from the present tense reality of our experience? What's keeping us from a deep emotional and spiritual connection to the people around us? To answer these questions, we must remove ourselves from the day's battles and quiet the distractions in order to tend to what's most important, responding to the call of this new season. Shabbat Shalom.